You are watching William Patterson University Television.
Welcome back to the desk. The trade deadline in the NHL came and went, and Nadia, Josh, John, and Jen are here to break down the current state of the NHL. John, we'll go to you first because your precious Islanders made no moves at the deadline. Did they need to make a move to stay at the top of the Metro Division?
So on paper, yeah, they definitely needed to make a move. It would have been nice to add a power play threat, a top six scoring threat, like maybe Mark Stone, Mike Hoffman. You see they're at first place so far. They've maintained it over the last couple days. It didn't look good after the loss to Calgary, but man, the game last night against Toronto, what a game. 6-1, everyone's chipping in. 14 different Islanders got a point. Andrew Ladd, who just came back from injury, was visible. I don't know that he got a point, but he was definitely visible with big hits on both sides of the puck. So the trade deadline, it was like they could have used something, but if they all play together, maybe it wasn't needed.
Jen?
I'm definitely going off of him. I mean, no one can deny that they're killing the game, literally. I would have liked to see them, maybe spice it up, get a forward, but I mean, you can't say that they're not doing fantastic this season.
It would have been great insurance. That's where I think.
Josh, you agree there?
I'm gonna have to disagree. I think the Islanders overall are a great team. They have Barry Trotz, who's really leading this team to the top of the Metro, and he's gonna be the main reason why they're gonna go far, I think, in the playoffs. I think if they had to make a move, they would have to trade some of their farm system, and they really can't afford that right now. The Islanders have a great farm system, and giving that for maybe a rental player is not the best move.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, why mess with something that isn't broken, But at the same time, like, they did have the opportunity to throw in for these high-end, point producers like Mark Stone and Panarin. I mean, Panarin ended up staying, but, I mean, you can't be mad at them for not messing with it because it's working for them so far.
I mean, you got to give to get, and I'm totally for that as long as there's an extension in place. Yeah. If it was for a rental, it wouldn't make any sense. Right. And Lou Lamoriello's been around the block once or twice. I'm sure he made the calls. He tried it out.
Time for extensions, then you got to move around some contracts, and the Islanders are kind of tight right now with that. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if they actually did make a trade, what would have happened.
How it would play out in the long run.
Well, from one side of New York to the other, Nadia, your Rangers made some big moves, some key players.
Did.
How did they fare with these trades?
I don't know. I was a little torn at first. I mean, Matt Zuccarello, he was the heart of the Rangers franchise. Like, it's so hard to really deal with that, I guess, like, as such a long-term fan. But, I don't know. Like, my whole thing is the Zibanejad, Kreider, Zuccarello line was probably one of the best forward lines in the league. And you can't build chemistry like that overnight. So when it comes to, like, the rebuild and the Rangers, focusing on trying to rebuild their franchise, I think it's hard because you need something stable to build it on. And once they got rid of, Zuccarello, it's like they got rid of something that was so stable to the team. But, when you look at what they got out of it, that also kind of upset me because, yeah, they got some great picks, but it's like, it really just depends on how they're going to play it out. So I'm frustrated and I'm upset, but at the same time, like, I feel like it could play out well for them, especially with the Hayes too.
The heart and soul of the Rangers, Matt Zuccarello. It's sad to see him go. I think it had to be done. But another trade that the Rangers made, which one I really liked, was the Kevin Hayes trade. And they traded him to Winnipeg for Brandon Lemieux, who's a big grinder, kind of like a Sean Avery type player. They also got a 2019 first-round conditional and a 2020 second conditional fourth. But the thing I don't like about these conditionals is there's so many different factors that come into play. I mean, that 2020 second fourth round, I believe, comes up first if Winnipeg wins the Cup. So there's a lot of different factors that play into this, and it kind of messes.
It sounds good on paper, but it's like when you look into the nitty-gritty of it, it's like what are they really getting out of it?
Exactly, and going back to the Dallas trade with Matt Zuccarello, if Dallas re-signs Zuccarello, that pick becomes a first, and it's like, and he has to play in 50% of the playoff games, and it's like, there's so many different things that come in. I'm tired of it. I just want a straight pick.
Do you think the Rangers made the right moves, though, or were they just making moves just to make moves at the deadline?
I think to further the rebuild, I think they definitely had to make some moves. I actually like the Kevin Hayes return. I think Brendan Lemieux is better than what you said. I think I think his peak could be a middle six winger.
He's only 22. He's young. He's got a lot of potential.
If he got more ice time, then he could definitely produce, and he could grow into a good player.
Well, there's no room to go forward on Winnipeg. You have the Rangers where, he could be. I mean, not actually this year, but he could become a first-line winger with no one in front of him. But really, I think his peak on a real contending NHL team is a second or third line playmaking winger. I think with the right guys, that could happen.
Right. He put up some good points in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Jen?
Yeah, I'm definitely for the Hayes trade. I feel like it worked out for them. The Rangers definitely had to make some sort of significant trade. But just like the trade deadline, it just reminds you of like how emotionally invested you get in players, and to see them go hurts like Zook for you guys.
I mean, even if you saw Henrik Lundqvist literally he couldn't handle it when he was asked after the game about the trade, he couldn't even verbalize anything.
Yeah.
He was so upset.
But, like, it just reminds you, like, that's what you signed up for. That's all part of the game. You know, it is emotional, but it is what it is.
Now, from one side of the Hudson River to the other.
To the better side of the Hudson River.
Wow. I don't know, Jen. Your Devils. Your Devils traded some big names, including their starting goalie. Did they make the right moves?
Personally, I think so. They definitely did have to make a move. They traded Keith Kincaid to Columbus, Ohio, Blue Jackets. I think he'll do good there, but like we always talk about it, Keith Kincaid should not be holding a starting position. He cannot hold the load. Can he save a game and step in for a starting goalie? Yes, and do fantastic, yes, but he'll do good there. But as trade-wise, just for the Devils in general, right now, so many of their players are hurt. They're literally playing the whole minor league team in Corey Snyder. That's literally what's going on right now with them, but they definitely had to make significant trades because what was working was not working. So something had to be done.
John?
I mean, man, they gave him away for a bag of pucks, didn't they? It was a 22 fifth-round pick. That's 4 drafts from now, and it's a fifth-round pick. It was like, please get him off my team. I mean, maybe he's got some good fortune coming to him in Columbus, but it's nothing more than a backup because whether Bobrovsky stays or goes, I think Korpisalo is the starting goalie of the future there. So Kincaid, maybe he'll be a serviceable backup, but man, I don't know what you're going to do with that return. So,
honestly, I think this might have been the worst trade at the deadline. This was absolutely embarrassing. This is the best what they can get for Keith Kincaid. You guys remember, Keith Kincaid was on fire to start this season, and the Devils just kind of overworked him. They kind of gave him too many times to start because they didn't really have a backup. Corey Schneider was hurt this entire time. I don't know why they didn't bring up Blackwood earlier in the season. This was just, oh my God, I'm sorry for the Devils. This trade really hurts you guys in the long run.
And sadly, like, I don't think it was just because since they got rid of Kincaid, now they bought up Blackwood, and we all know what a Blackwood fan I am. Like, even though Corey, yes, is, quote, better now and back better than ever.
I'm just hoping that it fixes their goaltending problem. That's only my thing, is because, you know, they have Schneider for, like, what, 3 more years? And I don't know if they should either buy out his contract or just send him to the minors, like, full time, because he's not contributing. He's not there. So I don't know what else to do.
Certainly an interesting time at the deadline for all 3 of our local teams in the NHL. That's all for this episode of WP Sports Desk. Thank you, as always, to our analysts, crew, and studio manager, Al Clarke. From Studio B in Hobart Hall, I'm Dante Vocaturo. We'll see you next time.